Aloha, Rollin Frost here. I was in the U.S. Army at Schofield Barracks in 1960, and I met Sergeant Kaufman. Sergeant Kaufman told me America started thinking with Emerson and stopped thinking with Emerson. And I got a hold of a book called Emerson's Essays, and I recommend it to you for nice, clear thinking. Can't beat Ralph Waldo Emerson. And welcome to program 988. Thanks for tuning me in, inviting me into your home. I'm going to try to give you some information here from the ancient science of astrology, the science of time. It's oftentimes called the basis of religious thinking in humanity. Anyway, we're going to cover the second week in November, and we're getting up close to the new moon on the 11th of November, 11/11. It happens at 7:48 a.m. It's at 19 degrees of Scorpio, and by and large would be a pretty nice new moon because it makes a really close sextile to Jupiter, so most of the world will be laughing and enjoying this new moon. However, it kind of begins a period in Hawaii, especially for the Big Island, which could be wet. So we've got a station. Neptune is stationing. Yes, it's stopping in the sky. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. That's how the planets move. They don't really move backwards. It's because of the relative motion of the Earth going around the sun, and these planets are out there going around the sun. Anyway, what's important is it's dead in the sky. It doesn't move forward or backwards on the 18th of November. Now, Neptune has to do with water, and you've seen a lot of action already. I mean, we know that plus or minus 20 days of that Neptune station, there's going to be lots and lots of Neptune stuff. Interesting thing, there's another full moon on the 25th of November that squares Neptune, and Neptune's going to get double, triple irritating. None of which bodes very well for the Big Island. Unfortunately, we're getting the crosshairs. You've been seeing floods and mudslides all over, haven't you? Woo! Poor South Carolina. But it's everywhere now. Yes, I-5 got flooded and mudded out in California. Never thought we'd see that. So it's in Europe, it's everywhere as Neptune stops. And thankfully it hasn't been focused on us too much here in Hawaii. But after the 11th, yeah, we're gonna have to take our turn. Well, I made you a nice chart here. There's the Earth in the center. The Sun is moving from 14 degrees to 24 degrees of Scorpio. Now, when it starts, it sextiles Pluto. It's very nice. It gives you a feeling of power. You'll feel it tomorrow. If you're on a thirsty show, you know, Friday is when the Sun's at 14 degrees. And so you'll feel powerful. You go investigate stuff. It's great. It goes on. 4 days afterwards, the Sun sextiles Jupiter, and there's, aha, now I see it clearly. So you're smack in the middle of a good period to investigate, find out more, and expect some of that Jupiter enlightenment. Lightning bolts of truth. Yeah, that's the... So what we're going to do is we're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern. Now, that Pluto is still squaring Uranus. And now we have Saturn squaring Neptune. This is going to go on for a while. And next year we're going to find that Saturn squaring Neptune results in some limitations on water and probably some rationing of water. And what do? If electricity, you know, they can shut off your power for a few hours a day and save electricity. What do they do with water? Can they shut off your water for a few hours to save water? I don't know. We're going to see. We'll see what happens. Now, we're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern. And oh, looky there. There's Mars and Venus. And they're together. As you start this week, here's Mars at 26 Virgo and Venus at 28 Virgo. They're only 2 degrees apart. And that's going to warm up old Venus quite a lot, to have Mars there close to her. And lo and behold, when you run the moon around the edge of the planetary pattern, making angles to these bodies, that gives us the mood of the times. And when you look at Friday, wow, pretty good day, the 6th of November. Starts at breakfast time. The moon goes by Jupiter. Wow, that's neat. Yeah. So, a lot of optimism. Lightning bolts of truth. Lightning. Thunder. Aha, now I see it clear. You're going to wake up Friday and you're going to feel optimism. That's what Jupiter does. Gives you optimism. But here's the real goodies too. Here's Venus and Mars. Now, the moon hits Mars first, around dinner time or a little bit after. And so you're going to feel that energy, that zap, the lustiness of Romeo. And then later in the evening, a couple hours later, there's Venus. Oh yeah, let's relax. Bedtime. Fun, sweet sex. Oh boy. So Venus, going to be nice. You're going to see Romeo and Juliet out there. And Friday night's a good night for a date. Saturday morning, the moon goes by early. This is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Goes by the north node. And we all feel kind of nurtured. And we feel like nurturing. It's not a bad Saturday morning. Huh? The moon going into Libra, though. And so up ahead there's going to be some problems. Before you get to the problem period in Libra, here's a nice sextile to Saturn. This is in the middle of the afternoon, Saturday the 7th, and you're likely to get yourself very well organized here. So good day Saturday, huh? Continues right through. Get to Sunday, it starts getting herky-jerky and shaky. Oh my goodness. Here's the old Uranus-Pluto square. Starts with the square to Pluto. You feel a little panicky. Eek, a bug! Even small stuff. You'll get that little startle reflex will come out. Now this is probably before lunch in most locations, between breakfast and lunch. And you'll feel that it's also territorial. It's like, you're in my territory. So people start to argue when the policeman says do this or do that. Well, here's Uranus. The moon opposes Uranus in the afternoon, and we don't feel like taking orders from anybody. No, you feel independent. This is tough on the police. Keep your hand off those weapons, policemen, because you're going to get resistance here again. Every Sunday now, huh? It's going to work its way back into Saturday and back into Friday over the next couple months. But we're kind of getting used to this Uranus-Pluto square, huh? Been here quite a while. The vibes, the shakiness, and the feeling of aloneness continues through Monday. Kind of eases up as you go into Monday afternoon, and the moon hits Scorpio, a nice fixed water sign. All the vibes change. What's that? Music I hear? Ha ha ha. Well, here Tuesday morning, here's a trine to Neptune. I discovered I can get all my old favorite Beatles songs on YouTube. Really neat. People have put them together and added the video and the pictures of the guys, and wow, I got a wonderful music and good video right there in my living room. So turn on the music Tuesday. Open up your heart Tuesday morning. There's a trine to Neptune. As you go to Tuesday evening, here's a sextile to Pluto. Feels pretty good. I'm powerful. I investigate things. I got my territory all lined out here. Good for you. Wednesday, 11/11. Here's the new moon. It's in the morning. And this is the beginning of a window where there could be quite a lot of rain. Now it sextiles Jupiter, and it's very interesting. Jupiter has to do with thunder and lightning. And this new moon, normally I would say it's a real good one, and you're not going to see too much rain. You're going to get just the right amount. That's not going to be true in our islands, unfortunately. But anyway, here's the new moon. And then here's the sextile to Jupiter in the middle of Wednesday. And then here, Wednesday night late, here's the Mars and Venus conjunction. And it's sexy, and it's loving, and it's nice. This is actually 2-3 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning. It just misses. This is 2 a.m. right here, this spot. So this is breakfast time. Stay in bed late Thursday. You'll be lucky because Saturn's up ahead. Here it is. It's the middle of Thursday. It's just after lunch. The moon hits Saturn. Oh, we got budget. We don't have money. We don't have time. Things are getting confusing. Here's the confusion, Neptune. So you start with some fear from Saturn, okay? And that's Thursday afternoon. And then in the evening, here just after dinner, here's the square to Neptune. Confusion, delusion. We spilled it. The water's going. Where's that water going? Okay. Friday, now this moon in Sagittarius, okay, started when you got up Thursday morning. It's still in Sagittarius Friday, and there's a little bit of freedom here. Here's that Friday afternoon, here's the trine to Uranus, some enlightenment, some higher mind. Oh boy, not bad at all. Unfortunately, here's a square to Jupiter, and we're going to overdo it, and there'll be too much. And that's a shame. But nevertheless, you got a flash of insight here Friday afternoon. Saturday, you begin to feel kind of energetic. Here in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, here's a square to Mars, and people are a little angry and a little impatient. And find yourself something physical to do here Saturday. Go get the chores done. Don't take it out on the people around you. Ask yourself what you're protecting and get out there and do the physical work. That's what this is about. Sunday, the moon squares Venus. Moon's in Capricorn, and that square to Venus is like, I'm lazy, I don't want to get up. And you know, can't blame you because the moon's going to hit Pluto here in the evening after dinner. And here's that panicky feeling again. Here comes Sunday, you know, the glitch, the independence, the aloneness comes up here about midnight. So here's the Uranus-Pluto square again. And gee, twist that plug. Take it out, let it rest, and plug it back in again, and it'll work. After you go through this period of glitch where I feel alone and my electronics and electricity isn't working too good, something happens kind of quickly inside about an hour, 2 hours, because here's a nice trine to Jupiter. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, now we get it fixed. That's okay. That's kind of a common thing. It's happening because there's a 150-degree angle between Jupiter and Uranus right now. And so Uranus comes in first with your feeling of aloneness and the shakiness and the glitches. And is that another hurricane on the news? And then Jupiter comes in. And in the case of the hurricane, a couple days later, oh, it goes off and minds its own business. It wasn't really a threat. So Jupiter comes after Uranus. Yeah? And that's a good thing. Here's a little bit of business for you folks on Oahu. The Saturday night show, which is 7 p.m. on Olelo, Channel 54, got bumped this one Saturday night, and they moved it to Friday on the 4th. It's still at 7 p.m., only it's Friday instead of Saturday. They told me this was because of a live request. Evidently, they're going to do some live TV then. So I got bumped. Oh, I got a lot of stuff to share with you, and as usual, not enough time. FEMA says you run from water and hide from wind. It's my intention to spend the rest of this show on your coming Neptune tribulation. And after some thought, I haven't got a clue whether this is the 1,000-year storm and we're all going to get flooded, or whether this is tsunami time. But I want to tell you that you got to prepare. If you're back here right now, you're on the 5th, 6th of November. Go down, get some supplies, fill up your gas tank, because this could be tough on those near the shoreline. You got to be prepared to leave if you're in a tsunami zone. You had to have your car packed up with the things you need, okay, and be ready. I'm serious. And you also need to prepare pretty much for a very large flood event, like you would a hurricane, because poles will go down, electricity will go down, roads will be out. This is no small thing for Hawaii. And I haven't done any of this for a while now and warned you like this, but this is a big thing. Now, I'm not going to detail this out anymore on this show. I got some other stuff to share, but here's the month of November, okay? November 1st down to the 31st. And you're getting your first signal here on the 11th from that lunation, the 11:11. There's another 11:25 that's serious. And here's just a visual way to look at this. Some of the stuff that's driving the difficulties you're about to experience, I've circled. And so you can see that here the last week of November has got a bunch of stuff in it. And this is a likely time for a large event to happen, okay? So be prepared. Don't let yourself be caught. Be prepared. It's a thing that okay, enough said. Okay, change of subject. We're going to talk about Saturn. Transiting Saturn. Transiting means moving. Saturn goes around every 28 years. Here you see it going from 5 to 6 degrees roughly of Sagittarius. Now, it's a peculiar thing, but Saturn has been here before. Now you got to watch Saturn. There he is, because like he's a grim reaper. You know how a guy with a scythe will come up and he'll go backwards. He'll stop and he'll go back over the grain and set it up and then come forward and cut. Well, Saturn's kind of like that. And here he moved up in Sagittarius and he stopped at 4 degrees 57 minutes. And he went backwards. Now that's station point of 4 degrees 56, is it? Can't see it very well. Yeah, 4 degrees 56. Interesting thing. Saturn's gone back, taking a step back. It's coming back up again. And you're kind of sitting on it. Here's November, and here's old Saturn, and he comes back again. 4 degrees. Here's 4:56. So on the 8th of November. So he's going by like, here's the cut stroke, so to speak. Now, Saturn stopping there and going back and then coming back up is kind of a serious matter, because the USA chart that I have labored over for years has an ascendant at 5.5 degrees of Gemini, or 4:56. The alternate chart that I use is 4 degrees of Gemini 56. Why do I have an alternate? Well, the rising sign of the USA government has has been questioned and worked on by lots and lots of astrologers. Most of them come up with Sagittarius rising because of one silly oil painting, and they think, that would be early in the morning. Anyway, I did a lot of research on this. When 9/11 happened, I used that to rectify what I had found out, and I came up with 5 degrees of Gemini, 30 minutes rising. Now, a lot of other astrologers have gotten close to this. Some of the best were the Rosicrucians, which came up with 8 degrees, but that's because Uranus is in the first at 8, and it rules the midheaven, the all-important angle in a country's chart. So, anyway, what I came up with I thought was really good, 5.5. And then I went further and decided that I could further adjust this a little bit if I wanted to, by looking at this chart in an astrocartography way spread across the continent. And lo and behold, when I did that, amazing stuff started coming up. The first things were there was 4 planets going right through big cities. The first was Venus going through Las Vegas. Well, yeah, that's where Venus is. So the second one was Neptune, went through San Francisco. And that was interesting. Gold rush, music, alcohol, drugs. Pluto, the first slave, most of the slave markets were in New Orleans. And Pluto is like elimination, and all the rivers drain down through New Orleans. So it's a tough. The other one was Uranus, goes through New York. Uranus has to do, the radio and the television stuff. Movies, I thought, were in L.A. and Hollywood, but they were in San Francisco originally, the music. But anyway, with these planets all giving us the flavor of these cities. New York's Uranus-like, New Orleans is Pluto, San Francisco's Neptune, Vegas is Venus. What I did is I just adjusted all the little lines a little bit. And what I found was to line all those guys up, 4 degrees, 56 minutes of Gemini rising. Now it happens that 4 degrees Sagittarius, 56, is where Saturn stopped. Now when Saturn moves up on this chart, stops there and then goes back and comes back up and hits it again, I'd expect problems with partners and enemies. When Pluto did this, we wound up with 9/11 and the battle against Pluto people, the suicide bombers. And anyway, Saturn now can be a nasty enemy. What I'm saying is that the USA government is about to have an enemy, have a problem with somebody. Who is Saturn? Well, Saturn can be people in black with white beards like Khomeini and the Iranian guys, Saturn can also be Russia, the Great Bear. Saturn could also be Netanyahu, for instance, is a very Saturn character. Saturn has a certain flavor. So he came back here and he warned us back in March and first of the year. Now he's come back again. And the trick to this time when he goes by there that makes it more of concern is that we're having some lunations. And we're having a full moon on the 28th of November at 3 degrees Gemini 20. Well, that's only 1.5 degrees, off the rising sign of the U.S. So we're going to have a full moon here, right on the rising sign, which means we're going to become kind of lunatic-like. I say we. It's the government, if you identify with the government as a country. So we have a full moon. The sun will be over here. And classically, we're overreacting to some man because he's doing Saturn. And we're going to have this for a month, big time, starting with that full moon at the end of November. So I got going on this some more and wound up in a peculiar situation. I said to myself, well, if we're going to have a war here with Saturn, we're going to be attacked by Saturn. Maybe these are Republicans shutting the government down. I don't know what they are exactly, but it squared the moon. The moon in this country is at 2 Pisces 30, and so that Saturn, as it moved up, squared the moon, which rules the money. A lot of people are saying these are the bankers, and we're going to have an emergency because the bankers are here, and they have been slowing down our money and our money supply, and they're going to attack us in some way, okay? The Saturn people. Damn, I'm out of time again. Here's President Obama's chart. Figure if the country has a problem, he will. I got his chart in the center, progressions on the outside. Lo and behold, what's going on? Here's a progressed moon, and his progressed moon's going to hit the bottom of his chart, his home, and that's on November 21st. Where's President Obama's home? Hawaii. He loves to go over. He's over in Kailua on Oahu and Lanikai in that area. He goes to the beach and he has some places he stays. Anyway, they're near the water. And this is not a good time to be. So what's happening here? Around the 21st, President Obama gets really worried about his home. Yes. Okay, this gets weirder. Here's President Obama's moon. He has the moon in his chart at 3 Gemini 21. Hey, wait a minute. That's where the full moon is. It's at 3.5 degrees. That full moon that we're going to have on November 25th puts his moon in lunacy for a month. I think he's going to be worried about his home, and I think you folks on Oahu, especially around the shoreline, better get ready for either the 1,000-year rain or the tsunami stuff, because the president is worried. Yeah, he's worried about this at the end of November. So am I. And, gee, he's got Saturn up here at the very top of his chart. Here's Saturn, and it's opposing his moon. He's going to be depressed. His health is going to be not good. Anyway, boo. I was going to give you some almanac humor. Ben says, a house without a woman and firelight is like a body without soul or spirit.